Welcome to the Enlightened Pet Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, Susan Light. In a world overflowing with conflicting advice and often misguided information, my mission is to be your trusted source for accurate, kind, and truly effective strategies to understand and shape your pet's behavior. Join me as we shed light on common challenges and work to foster a deeper, more harmonious bond with our beloved furry family members. If you find the show helpful and enjoyable, please consider showing your support by subscribing, following, rating, reviewing, and sharing with your friends. Just takes a minute and it really boosts the show's visibility, helping more pet parents discover it. Thank you for your support. Let's get into it. Today is not one of our happier topics, but it is important. I want to give a trigger warning here that we'll be discussing pet loss. Today, we're talking about how to prevent pet suffocation. And I'm big on pet safety and always trying to educate pet parents how to keep their fur babies safe. But here's a risk that even I had never really thought of until a former guest, the founder of Center for Pet Safety, which go ahead and listen to that episode. It's under vehicle safety. It's really great. She mentioned this to me. So we'll be welcoming the woman who's made it her mission to spread the word and save as many lives as she can. The founder of Prevent Pet Suffocation, Inc. Please welcome Bonnie Harlan. Bonnie, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Susan. I really appreciate it. I love being able to, enlighten more people on pet suffocation risk.
Absolutely. So let's start there. What is Prevent Suffocation, Inc., and why did you found it?
Well, Prevent Pet Suffocation is a charity I founded in early 2012. Sadly, it happened because I lost my own dog, very shockingly, to pet suffocation, and I had never heard of it. So I figured if I hadn't heard about it, probably a lot of other people haven't heard about it either. So I was so upset over the whole event that I decided to start this movement. And it's now pretty much an international reach across many, many countries. So it's been very rewarding, but that's initially how it came to be.
I'm so sorry that it started with that tragedy, but I completely agree. I mean, this is something that had never really occurred to me as a risk factor to my own pets. And it was actually the woman who I interviewed her a while ago, who founded the Center for Pet Safety, that mentioned this and brought you to my attention. Yeah. And so I was like, yeah, I think we need to talk about it. How does pet suffocation happen so that people understand?
Well, so what happens is when you have a dog or a cat, and mainly a dog, put their head into a chip bag or a snack bag or a popcorn bag, something like that. A lot of them are made from this mylar like material. It's very shiny. You've seen it in balloons. It keeps snacks fresher, but it also makes the bag very tight. So when a dog puts his head into the bag and starts to breathe, it creates a vacuum like seal, which adheres around its neck. And if you can visualize that, once it's around their neck, they can't see, they can't breathe, they get a lot of anxiety, and they're not logical. So they panic and they can suffocate in that bag within 3 to 5 minutes. And it seals. Once it seals, it can be really, really tight. It's very hard for anyone to even get the bag off of their head. And that's essentially what happened to my dog. It was a Cheetos chip bag. And when I found him, he still had the bag over his head.
Mm, wow. So when you say, the chip bags, the Mylar things, it makes sense that the dogs are going for these things. And you're right, mostly dogs. I'm sure a cat could suffocate as well, but cats are not usually sticking their heads in chip bags as much. But dogs are scavengers. They're going to try to access any kind of food that they can. And so, how can we prevent it? Like, what can we do?
Well, there are several things you can do once you're kind of made aware of the risk. And one of the main things is you want to store all your food containers and food bags, anything like that, safely away from your pets. And I don't mean just on a low shelf of a pantry. Preferably, you don't use the food bags. You cut them up and you store your food items in containers. You serve snacks in glass bowls. You do things like that so these bags aren't laying around. You keep your pantry door tightly shut. Um, you keep a lid on the trash can, or you keep the trash can behind a counter or behind your pantry door and so forth. And the best tool you can keep in your kitchen is a pair of scissors. And, I'm in the habit, and my whole family is now, of we cut every bag up. I don't care if it's a plastic bag that your apples are in from the store, you know, or a food sack from a fast food restaurant. If there's been food in it, you want to destroy it. And so once you start kind of implementing these things at home, you can just be a little more comfortable on on the safety of your pets. So I tell everybody to be very vigilant. You need to look around your home every time you leave. I mean, I left my house. There was a little Cheetos chip bag and a bag of trash in my kitchen. I never thought about it. And my dog got into it, and I wasn't even gone very long. So you really want to be really vigilant, like I said. And you want to check your yard, your garage, your vehicle, every room in your house, including your bedroom. And where a lot of people like to, have some snacks, take them up to the bed, or maybe you're in your den and you've got something on a coffee table, that sort of thing. You can't be too careful, is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. And I think I talk a lot about the dangers of trash that we create. And I'm thinking like corn cobs and tampons and things that dogs eat and they need to be, surgically removed from their stomach. And obviously they can choke on things. But yeah, we have to also add to that list of bags that food has been in, right? Because those are
I mean, they're
potential
very,
works.
yeah, it's very, it's just dangerous to pets, They can smell things a mile away. They get very creative. I've seen lots of videos where dogs are opening up doors and drawers, and cats as well. They're very sneaky. I tell people, cats, they jump very high, they're very agile. So you don't want to put things on top of refrigerators or washers and dryers, that type of thing. Um, you're not going to find, like in my house, you're not going to find bread on the counter, that kind of thing. It's going to be safely put up where, your pets can't get into it. Especially if you have a counter surfer for
Yeah.
a dog. My dog is 60 pounds. Stands up pretty tall, and he can easily grab something off. But I've seen little dogs, Chihuahuas, Beagles, jump on a chair, jump on a counter. And before you know it, they're in trouble. And, we have a pet suffocation survey that I've had out about 3 years. And about 50% of the respondents were home when their pet suffocated.
Oh my God.
So they were watching TV, they were in the shower, they were in another room, and that's how quick it can happen. So it's not just when you leave your pets, it's at home when you're in home as well.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. And also, I saw the statistics that most people who even left were only gone for 20, 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
Except
It wasn't even that they were gone all day. It can happen really fast.
I've had people walk across the next door neighbor and borrow a cup of milk or sugar, come back, your dog is dead,
Wow.
or they're entertaining. That's another thing I really want to point out to people.
Yeah.
You're entertaining. We've got July 4th coming up. We've got a lot of summer gatherings. It's very easy to get distracted when you have company or your kids have play dates and things like that. And, you have these holidays with a lot of food in them. People like to put everything out, and they're distracted talking to the guests or family members, and the dog gets something off the table and goes behind the TV and no one notices, or something in the backyard. So it really never ends, the the vigilance and being very careful. and just getting into the habit of we're not going to have food bags out. Um, and that's, and it's not just food bags, obviously, it's containers too. When you throw away jars, put the lid on them. Okay. Screw your peanut butter lid on, screw your mayonnaise jar on.
Yeah.
So, wildlife can't get into it. Stray dogs, feral cats, etc. Yogurt cups, smash them. Whatever you can smash, smash. You can crush a can, because all of these can wreak havoc on an animal. We've all seen like um, fish and marine life getting tangled up in plastics and lines and things like that. Birds, etc. They could get caught up in these types of things too. So
Absolutely.
it's really just being, a good citizen, right? And a good pet owner and thinking about all the animals in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And really securing your trash. And I love that you mentioned like how smart dogs are because I have dogs that come to stay in my house that can open doors. Some dogs don't, but some dogs are really, you need like child locks to keep them and cats out of, the dangerous things. Yep. And, all the things. So, pay attention to that. And I do have a little 15-pound dog that did get a loaf of bread off the counter, just jumped high enough that he was able to snatch, the bag and drag it down. And he ate the bread, but I didn't even realize at the time how lucky I was that he didn't suffocate on the bag trying to eat that bread, you know? So it's a real thing. It can happen. And 2 to 3 pets suffocate every week in the US, I found.
Well, it's kind of a misnomer. I hear from 2 to 4 people a week typically. Those are just the people I hear from. So if you extrapolate that number worldwide, you can imagine how many animals are dying daily from suffocation risk. Um, and, I have kept my own numbers. I'm in the thousands right now with people that have reported to me that they've lost a pet or found a pet barely alive or saved a pet. Um,
Oh, the near misses, yeah, that wouldn't even be in the statistic.
yeah, and that's why I also suggest to people that you learn CPR. Um, we had 10% of the respondents were able to revive their pet. Okay. That doesn't seem like that high of a number, but it really, really adds up.
Yeah.
So kind of knowing that, knowing where your vet is and the ER and so forth.
Absolutely. We have a pet first aid episode that actually just came out last month. So people absolutely. I think that's another thing that people don't realize exists is pet first aid classes so that you can learn, up to in these emergencies. But even she said, prevention is better. Prevent everything you can. Of course, we want to know what to do if the worst happens, but um, I think it's really important that we're preventing this. So, since most people don't know about it, what can people do who are listening who now are like, "Oh my god, what can they do to help spread awareness to more pet parents?"
Well, first thing they can do is go to our website, preventpetsuffocation.com. It is stock full of information on what this is, how to prevent it, what you can do to keep your home safe. Okay, so that's really where I tell people to start. You can also follow us on all of our social media accounts: Facebook, X, TikTok, Instagram, etc., because we have content daily almost on, accidents that have happened, tips and safety tips and things like that. Like this week will be all about July 4th, pet safety. Um, and then you want to educate your family and your friends and your kids' friends and your pet sitters and your house cleaners, anyone that's coming into contact with your dog, because you can be the best you can be, and you can go on an errand, and somebody at home does not know. Like, right now, I have some summer guests, and though they know what I do, we had one of them open, a Skinny Pop popcorn bag and left it out on the table. Now, it was kinda cut, but there were all these food particles in it. So, the dog's gonna go for it. And then somebody else put, another chip bag in the trash can that, wasn't cut up because they're not thinking, they don't have a pet. They're not thinking about it, even though they know what I
So
do.
you have it.
So I give everyone the speech. Do you have food in your suitcase? Do you have food in your purse? If you do, you need to lock it up, zip it up, or put it in my own kitchen. One time I came home from dinner, I'd guest here, and my dog, who was always crated now, somehow managed to get out. It was really scary. And he ran downstairs, got a bag of almonds out of her suitcase, brought it back upstairs. And when I walked in, the bag of the almonds and the dog were in the middle of the floor. So you you just don't know. So I give the same speech to everybody now. You you also want to, especially well, if you use a pet sitter when you're gone, especially, I print out our latest infographic and I tape it next to everything where my dog food is and so forth. So nobody can miss it. And it tells them exactly, what to do. And the other thing you can do is you need to tell your own vet and vet staff because a lot of them still don't know about it.
Sure.
And it's really about educating people. Okay. It's not complicated or hard to prevent it. It's just about being, aware and taking the extra steps to do it.
Yeah. Did you get a PTSD flashback? We did. That's a
Few
few.
of those.
See, I'm getting it for you a little bit. Like just the thought of it. It's like,
I've had a few of them, believe me.
oh God,
And another tip I want to tell people is if you leave your dog in the car to run in an errand, which I don't recommend,
don't do that. Yeah.
don't have food bags or food drinks or drink cups in your vehicle. I've had so many people
Listen,
contact me.
cups are a risk as well.
Yes, I had a dog died in a Dairy Queen cup, a styrofoam cup, and you just don't want to have food products and, people will order, fast food and then run in and do something that's still in the car.
Yeah.
So, there are all of these little tidbits we don't really think about. The same with garages. People will put their big, bag of dog food in the garage. Well, and then sometimes they'll leave their dog in the garage, right? Which I hate, but they do.
Also, those are not climate controlled usually. So
Yeah.
it's like
And
plugging up the car. It's very dangerous.
exactly, they can get and suffocate into these, 20-pound bags of, dog food, okay? So, it's all these just little things you learn along the way not to do, and, it just takes, a few extra steps. And another thing I wanna mention with cats is what we've been hearing from lately, a lot lately, are cats are getting into containers. They love containers. They love small enclosed spaces. Maybe it's a dryer or something like that. But they'll get into these kind of big pet food containers or pet litter containers. And we've had plenty where the lid has, fallen down upon them and they were unable to get out. So there's those things you need to be, aware of as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Um, that's crazy. And I saw also you have a link that we're going to put in the show notes along with your website and your Instagram to a petition to Frito Lay's. Could you
Right. So
flip
I
that?
started this petition um, a few years ago because, Frito Lay, who we all love their products, I will tell you, they're the biggest, manufacturer and distributor of, snacks here. And so we've started a petition a long time ago to have them add warning labels to their chip bags and their snack bags. And I think it was just a few months ago we finally got over 50,000 signatures, which took a while, believe it or not. Um, and so at some point we will get that over to them. We are still gathering, signatures. And people will say to me, "Oh, well, dogs can't read." That's right, but we can. And so we want another little added thing in place to remind people that a bag is a suffocation risk.
Yeah. Well, they're all I think that sounds so totally reasonable, you know? You're not asking them to change, like, the design of their bag,
Right.
what if like, their product or anything, and there's already printed warnings on so many plastic bags because of the risk to children. Uh,
Exactly.
I make a lot of comparisons between raising small children and raising animals, so to find that they're at risk for some of the same, risks is not that surprising.
Well, I would tell
I
you.
sign that. I'll put the link in the show
Oh,
notes.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, People that reach out to me are devastated when this happens. Pet suffocation catches everyone off guard. You don't expect it. It's shocking. You cannot believe that a minute ago you were petting your animal. And so the grief and the devastation and the guilt are really strong. And another thing about our Facebook group, which we have about 26,000 followers, is it really also serves as a support group in addition to educational awareness. It because so many people have been through this, they're able to, help the other person that's, going through it. So if anybody has lost, an animal, we would definitely love to hear from you, no matter when it was, because, everybody, it just sticks with you and everybody s- support, you know, to know they're not alone and how this happens. And the other thing I wanted to point out, Susan, is pet size or breed or age does not matter. Every dog, every cat is vulnerable to pet suffocation because nobody can win a battle against lack of oxygen.
Yeah.
And people will say to me, well, my dog is so smart, or my dog's too big, or my dog's too little. No, there's a bag size for everybody. And once they start losing their breathing ability, it goes pretty quickly.
Mm, that's really good for me. So we covered a lot of it, but I just did want to make sure that I asked, like, what types of items uh pose risk so that we really kind of put it on our radar. We said containers, dog food bags, human food bags, jars, cups. Did we miss anything else?
Also, even Ziploc bags, food bags that vegetables come in, um, frozen meat comes in, candy in bags. Um, then you get into your cheese, shredded cheese bags,
Yeah.
those type. Um, and then every type of container that has food and, cans as well. Because even if you don't own a pet, if you take these measures and do these kinds of things, it's going to protect all the wildlife and the strays out there because a lot of this stuff's gonna end up in a landfill. We've all seen animals carousing around in a dump. It's terrible. It's sad, but that's where they're going to forage for food,
Yeah.
and a lot of
There's
them
a
get
lot of food.
yeah, and you've seen a bear, a squirrel, a bird, a skunk with a container over their head. It's a sad thing. Even deer, they get their antlers stuck in things. Um, so you just have to assume every animal is at risk.
Yeah. Wow. Is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you want to make sure that we say?
I think that those are the main important things. The more educated you can get, the safer your house will be. And again, you really want to tell everyone in your family, print our infographics off, email them to your vet. Um, and it just all takes a few minutes to do these things. And again, if you know someone that's had this happen to, or it's happened to you, please get in touch with us. I do keep track of all of these, pet losses and so forth. I told you I'm already in the thousands. And, you know, it's just nobody wants to be a member of this club.
It's true. It's
So luckily, simple strategies that you can do to take care of it. Again, when I leave, not only do I crate my dog, but I shut the door to my room. anything that I think, well, did I leave something in there, accidentally? I'm pretty paranoid.
As a
So,
yeah. And I'm pro crating. I think, you should recreate training your dog so they're comfortable in a crate. It is one of the safest places for an unsupervised dog to be because of this, right? Like,
my
there's
dog
a lot of
loves
things.
things. Yeah. And the dog I lost, he was out. He wasn't in his crate. I had left him out because he was, back then, this was 12, 13 years ago. I didn't know about it and he was really good in the house, but
Yeah.
I was only gone 40 minutes. And when I came home, he was, this had just happened, you know, and so it's a horrible feeling. You never quite get over it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for creating this space where people can connect, for spreading the awareness, even though I'm sure it's painful to talk about every time you have to talk about it. But thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for what you're doing.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. And let me know if you want to know anything else.
Thank you for listening to the Enlightened Pet Behavior Podcast. I hope you and your beloved pets have found valuable insights for a more harmonious life together. Please remember that this podcast provides educational information only and is not a substitute for professional veterinary or behavioral advice. If you need personalized support, please don't hesitate to contact me and we can explore how we can work together to achieve your pet behavior goals. You can reach me at enlightenedpetbehavior.com or via email at susan@enlightenedpetbehavior.com. This episode was edited by Monty Light. Special thanks to Mac Light for composing the podcast's music. You can find him at maclightsongwriter.com. Treasure those fur babies, and I'll talk to you next time.